Hey there, football fans. Here we are, episode number 17 of Nick's Who Gives a Crap Football Update, aka Nick by the Buffalo. And we're winding up the football season. Some exciting things going on as we're getting down to the end of the season. Finished up, first of all, with the NCAA season by having the national championship game between LSU and the Clemson Tigers, both Tigers. I'm going to be 100% honest, give you my 2 cents on this. Honestly, the night of the national championship game, I only watched part of the second half. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm not a huge fan of college football over the NFL product. I am an Oklahoma State football fan, a Big 12 football fan, Texas Tech. I'll even watch the Sooners. Not as a fan, but I'll watch the Sooners because of the hometown interest. But as a general college football fan, I don't really watch a lot of games that don't have anything to do with the schools that I follow. This game not being any different. And honestly, another reason why I didn't tune in this time, and I probably would have, honestly, but the reason I didn't was that same night the Oklahoma City Thunder were taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Minnesota Timberwolves have a rookie, Jarrett Culver, that played for Texas Tech. So I had some interest in that game. So I chose to watch the Thunder Minnesota Timberwolves game that night, and I caught the second half, the tail end of the LSU Clemson game. No surprise to me. I really felt like LSU was going to run that game and control it from the beginning. I did see the score at the bottom, and I did see that Clemson did take the lead early in that game, kind of held things in control, and then it kind of went off the rails, it appeared, with LSU dominating and winning in nice fashion. Joe Burrows, a guy that I've been very critical of. I'm not a fan of his. What I will give on my 2 cents there is I've really tried to like this kid, but I really can't. I think his talent is superb, but I don't like his attitude. I very much can pick out when I feel like a guy has the right kind of attitude, and I take pride in my ability to do so. And I've documented many times what I felt like on certain players throughout the years. If I felt like they were a good guy, not a good guy, good teammate, not a good teammate. I'm not saying he's a bad teammate. He's just a little too arrogant for me, a little too cocky. Not to the level of a Baker Mayfield. And that's a lot of reasons why I never have liked Baker Mayfield. I just don't like his personality. But he's got some of those similar traits. And I want to like his story. I want to like his backstory. I want to like the effort that he's put forward. But much like Baker, they talk about this tough road traveled. These kids with this transfer portal can go wherever they want to go. And I can't give a guy total credit when he goes to a top 5 power program like LSU or Oklahoma. These kids that transfer in that maybe didn't get an opportunity at their school, they do what's right for them. But I can't give them credit like they worked hard to get there. I mean, he went to LSU. Let's get it to the bottom of the line there. He went to LSU and had a great season, an unbelievable season. I'm not going to cheat the kid out of the season that he had. He's deservingly going to be the number 1 pick in the draft in my eyes. But it's the little things that he does, the pointing to his name on the back of his jersey, and then him pointing to his finger, like, give me my ring. I don't like that stuff. You don't have to be, everybody can't be Barry Sanders or Larry Fitzgerald. I get that. But you're the quarterback. You've done enough. You've won the Heisman. You're going to be the first pick in the draft. You don't have to do this kind of stuff in my eyes. A lot of people may like that showboating. I just don't personally. So I'm kind of concerned about his personality going into the NFL in that regard. But we'll see. It's too early in my eyes to say if he's going to make it as a pro, not make it as a pro. He does definitely have the skills to do so. But let's just see if he gets to be a little bit too big for his britches here this offseason and maybe loses track of working hard to get to that next level. It's a different game when you get into the NFL. But no surprise there the way that game went. Okay, let's go to the divisional rounds of the NFL. Let's start off with that first game that I missed completely. I said I thought the Vikings could upset the 49ers. It went completely, the 49ers dominated that game. 49ers very impressively handled the Minnesota Vikings. And in my eyes, the 49ers are really kind of looking like they're becoming front runners on this deal. Very good ground game, very good defense, extremely well coached with Shanahan as the coach there. Garoppolo's doing enough at this point to help them progress. They've got a well-balanced team, well-balanced attack. I have a very difficult time picking apart weaknesses for this team other than experience. Experience might be the one knock that they would have. They don't have a lot of that playoff experience on this team, a lot of youth, a lot of young guys, and sometimes that can kind of bite you as you get to this point in the season. But we'll see. On the flip side of that, you got the Green Bay Packers, who beat the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks with Russell Wilson, who in my opinion was the MVP this year. I still believe that. If it's not Russell Wilson, it's the guy right here that I'm wearing a jersey of again, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Russell Wilson almost willed his team back into a victory there against the Green Bay Packers. But as I mentioned in last week's video, I think all of us are sleeping on the Green Bay Packers. I really do think we're not giving this team enough credit. 13-3 in the regular season, and they haven't won in big fashion. And I think that's where people are giving pause to giving them credit. And I really feel like the Green Bay Packers are a legitimate runner in this race. And I very much could see them beating the 49ers. However, with that game, the NFC Championship coming up this week, I am going to pick the San Francisco 49ers beating the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. It's not an Aaron Rodgers team there in Green Bay as much as it has been in years past. They're based more on defense, getting pressure, good pass coverage, and running the ball. They run the ball well. And when Devontae Adams is healthy and Aaron Rodgers has his weapons around him and Aaron is healthy, that team is very much a contender. First-year head coach, though. So I'm going to be interested to see how these two teams without their multiple years of experience. Aaron Rodgers has the experience. And that may be a reason why I should be going the other way on this. I maybe should be giving Green Bay the edge in this battle. I'm not going to take credit for that, however, if it goes that way, because I am picking the 49ers to win that game. Switching over to the AFC. I've been so excited to get on here and talk about this. The Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. What happened? What happened, Lamar Jackson fans out there? What happened? Your boy didn't play that well, did he? Lamar Jackson, as I mentioned, in the postseason, these running quarterbacks do not get you there to the Super Bowl. A run-first quarterback will not win you Super Bowls. I've said it I don't know how many times on this channel, and I'm telling you over and over again. And they did a piece before the games, the playoff games on Sunday. This is after he lost. They did a whole piece with all these previous running quarterbacks, Steve Young, Randall Cunningham, Cordell Stewart. They had all these past running quarterbacks, Fran Tarkenton. And I'm laughing to myself this whole time they're doing that. Part of me is laughing and part of me is getting infuriated because I feel like the points they're making are not valid during this piece. Those are good players in past. Cordell Stewart was not a good player. Cordell Stewart was a bust extraordinaire. But anyway, Randall Cunningham was a good player. Steve Young, I think he's highly overrated. I've always thought Steve Young was overrated. I was not a fan of Steve Young. And that run-first style, I didn't even like with Steve Young. I hated the 49ers, obviously. But Steve Young, I felt like played that West Coast offense. He was an athletic quarterback. He could run around some. He just dumped the ball to Jerry Rice on short, flat patterns, and Jerry Rice would take the ball and run. He had a very, very talented team around him. They won one Super Bowl that I feel like the Cowboys gave them because of their poor coaching decisions in the NFC Championship game. But I've always felt like Steve Young has been massively overrated. But okay, he won a Super Bowl. I still don't think Steve Young, I don't look at him as a run-first quarterback. But this piece they did, they're talking about the new generation and how the NFL is going to start moving to the Lamar Jackson. And the days of the pocket passing quarterbacks are all over in the NFL. We're going to go beyond that now. Now we're going to start getting running quarterbacks. The running quarterbacks are not in it anymore. So what are we talking about? And I love how it's a new thing. Oh, new running quarterbacks. The piece they were doing were showing you Fran Tarkenton. He wasn't new. Steve Young's not new. Randall Cunningham's not new. Cordell Stewart, Michael Vick. Those aren't new quarterbacks. We've had running quarterbacks in this league for years. Lamar Jackson is not some new unicorn that's happening. And it's not a trend that I see having sustainability. If you go to the Super Bowl and another pocket type guy wins the game, we're going to still be there. What happens in this game? Garoppolo's not a running guy. Aaron Rodgers isn't a running guy. Mobility is a huge piece of being a quarterback in the NFL. You do need to be mobile, but those are guys who pass the ball first and can break down with their legs. Russell Wilson's the same way. He can break down and make plays if something happens. If Lamar Jackson will develop his game in that manner, I will give him much more credit and much more ability to go somewhere. But he's still today a guy that's going to take off running at the best opportunity. And their offense is built up that way. Admittedly so. They built their offense out around that. So I just was super pumped to see the Titans win that game with the tradition of running the ball and playing good defense. And I told you, good defenses in the playoffs will always neutralize that running quarterback threat. And when it came down to it, Lamar did make some passes, but he couldn't score touchdowns. He couldn't score points. So they're sitting at home, and I'm glad that's the case. The Tennessee Titans, a way overachieving team. Very excited, though. I love running games. I've been a Derrick Henry fan since his college days, so I'm excited to see Derrick Henry having success. Ryan Tannehill, they're kind of managing games with Ryan Tannehill. But Mike Vrabel, I'm very, very impressed with him and his coaching ability. The things that he's doing to fire this team up and get this team prepared is very exciting. Finishing up in the AFC playoffs this past week, Kansas City Chiefs in that game. Oh my goodness. The Houston Texans in that game just came out of the gates. Things were happening. It was just like everything that could happen wrong was happening wrong for the Chiefs. My household, we're all Mahomes fans. We've been Mahomes fans since his Texas Tech days, as I've mentioned multiple times. So everybody in my household right now is massive Chiefs fans. And so we were all really down on it after we started that game. We're like, oh my God. But to a point, we weren't totally just turn the game off because we knew about Pat's abilities, and he showed it. I mean, it just was like a storm. That kickoff return really was what turned the tide in that game. That big kick return, and then the other thing that they did was when Bill O'Brien, who I'm not a fan of, I feel like Bill O'Brien is not a good coach, going for the fake punt when he did. Stupid decision. I am a very conservative-minded person when it comes to football. I'm not a big risk-taking type guy. I believe in kicking field goals, punting, not running a lot of fakes. Wrong time to do that. They had all the momentum in that game, and all that did was just switch that momentum over the Chiefs on the road. To me, that was a scared way to play. When you do that type of stuff, you're a scared team, and you know that you're not going to win the game, and you're letting your opponent know that. And so then it was just blood in the water, and then it was just the Chiefs taking off. Mahomes just doing things unbelievably awesome, like he always does. So super excited to see the Kansas City Chiefs win that game. And Tyreek Hill didn't even have a big game, by the way. So a lot of people think that, Tyreek Hill is a big part of it. He is. Travis Kelce, just amazing. That guy just gutted it out. But that team has so many weapons around it that it wasn't a surprise to me. And as I mentioned, their defense playing much, much better. And their defense really held the Texans in check down the stretch. Ultimately, the Texans just kind of fell apart. So now we got the Titans and the Chiefs going into the AFC Championship game. I'm going to pick the Chiefs in this game. But I will say, and I know I'm talking out both sides of my mouth on both these games, but the Titans also play that running style of football and play good defense. And they're kind of like that team of destiny that I've seen. So I'm not going to be surprised at all. I've been surprised to see them to this point. I was talking about it with the lovely Patty today. I would never in a million years have picked the Titans to make it this far in the playoffs. Completely would not take any credit on that because I would never have thought that they were going to make it this far this season. And they've exceeded my expectations. That being said, I completely would not be surprised if they made it to the Super Bowl. But I think the Chiefs ultimately have too much talent. The Chiefs will be able to take care of business again. It's going to be an Arrowhead. And I see the Chiefs taking care of the Titans. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to score enough. I do think they're going to try to slow that game down quite a bit and try to run with Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry, as amazing as he's been, I think that you can only do that kind of running style. You're going to eventually have to be able to throw the ball as well. And I don't know if Ryan Tannehill is going to be able to throw it well enough to keep up with Pat Mahomes. So I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not going to go any further than that right now because I don't want to cheat myself on the next video when I'm going to pick who I think is going to win the Super Bowl after that. But like I said, Pat, just amazing. So we're about to wrap this episode up. Not much to talk about with the Dallas Cowboys this week. Very excited to see Jimmy Johnson deservedly get into the Hall of Fame. I feel like Darren Woodson has been snubbed too much. I don't think Darren Woodson should be snubbed anymore. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. But happy to see Jimmy Johnson make it. Jimmy very deserving to get in there. Other than that, I want to let everybody know I appreciate you tuning into the channel. I do appreciate the likes if I do get them. Give me a thumbs down if you think I'm full of crap. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you hear. Click subscribe if you haven't done so to this point. We're wrapping the season up, but I'm going to continue this next season. And who knows, I might jump on here. I plan on jumping on here throughout the season, doing other kind of tidbits throughout the season. Definitely around draft time, I'm going to have a draft special. Already kind of planning something out there. But I do want to thank you again, and I hope that you have a blessed football weekend. Take care.